Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. My next guest is a guy, some crazy stuff going on. Tom Brady hurt his knee day to day, and Vegas odds seem to be going a little nuts. So we got my favorite guest to talk about it from the Wynn Sportsbook in Las Vegas. Please welcome John Avello to the show. John, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Artie, how you doing?
John, so what goes on here? ESPN tweeted a suspension of all Super Bowl bets. And it's because, I guess, Tom Brady is day-to-day with an injury to his knee. How true is this? Like, what's going on out there?
Well, I didn't take down the Super Bowl at all. There's too many other teams in there,
right?
Involved. So I didn't touch the Super Bowl at all. What I did take down in the AFC, I took down the division because without Tom Brady. Well, first of all, let's talk about without Tom Brady. That's
right.
the problem.
What does that mean? Yeah, because even taking down the division, that's massive.
Yeah, first of all, he's worth probably 10 points in a football game, probably as many points as any quarterback that's ever played the game.
Wow. Well, when you take into account he's got Ryan Mallett and Tim Tebow after him, don't you think it's more than 10? Because
well, I use 10 now. Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe it is more than 10. But that system up there that the New England has, it seems like a lot of quarterbacks could probably play in that system. Remember, they won 10 games without Brady in 2008. But I can tell you one thing. I think Tom Brady will learn from this. I've torn the ACL. I know what that injury is. It took me 9 or 10 months to get back to where I was playing again. And when you play, you need to wear a brace so you don't hyperextend it. But what happens over time, you start to think that the knee's good as it ever was, and you start not wearing the brace anymore. And that's what happened to him today. Because I think
he wasn't wearing it?
I don't think so.
See, I thought he wore that like prophylactically now.
Well, I guess
on his front.
Is he going to catch hell from that from the front office? I bet he does, right?
Well, you're not supposed to get hit in a game like this either,
Well, that's true too.
What happened though was Adrian Claiborne. They're playing against the Buccaneers in practice. Adrian Claiborne, the defensive end from Iowa, bull rushed Nate Solder, the left tackle.
Yeah,
pushed him back right into Brady. So his own offensive lineman fell into him.
Oh, okay. So it was a bit of a mistake. But that, it's funny. As much as I love Brady, I would have thought that he might not be that. He might not be the biggest all time when it comes to a differential like that. My God, 10 points. I mean, Elway, Marino, they were Montana.
He's just
those teams already didn't put up 34, 35 points a game.
That's true. He does score a lot of points.
The term surgeon is used all the time with him.
Like
he
a
just
surgeon.
Dices you up. He's so precise. He knows exactly what he's looking at all the time. You can't fool him. And then you got a young guy in Ryan Mallett who's backing him up.
And Tebow's on that team?
Tebow's the third-string quarterback.
They slipped under the radar there. I didn't even realize Tebow was on there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, when Brady went out in practice in this scrimmage against the Buccaneers,
right.
Ryan Mallett came in and immediately threw a pick, and then Tim Tebow came in and did his Tebow thing.
Well,
it's a big drop-off.
Well, what other quarterbacks in history have been close to that? I know. As a matter of fact, who's playing now? Who's
I
second?
think you'd have to go with Peyton Manning.
Right.
He's probably a maybe not 10, but he's probably a touchdown to 10 somewhere in that area.
Wow.
When you look at the Baltimore Ravens, a guy like Flacco, he's probably worth 6 points. When you look at starting quarterbacks, who's the backups? I mean, who really has a good backup?
Who even knows? Yeah, because good backups get the contracts and become starters.
In Baltimore, Tyrod Taylor's getting some good pub as a backup.
Yeah, but Flacco's backup. Yeah.
He's a capable, athletic guy who's improving.
So what do you hear about Brady's knee?
The latest I hear is that it's a sprain, and he's going to be okay.
Okay.
That's the latest I hear. Now, we'll see if that all holds true. That is unofficial, and that's not from the team.
Right.
But some other things I had to take down, of course, Art. I had to take down the regular season wins. We had the Patriots up at 11.5 wins, and that has to come down. And then I also have, will the Patriots make the playoffs, yes or no? And that has to come down. So those are the three things I had the more interest in taking down than the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl will stay up, and people probably won't bet bet the Patriots right now, but they can bet other teams if they think that there's value now on teams that the Patriots play.
Are they not a playoff team without him?
Oh, boy. When you go back to 2008, they won 10 games that year without him because of the system.
Right.
And they didn't make the playoffs that year.
That's right, man.
Yeah,
So,
but
you know, it depends how the other teams do.
right.
10 games.
in their
9
division.
wins sometimes get you in, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, you look at the other teams in their division in the AFC East, and there are question marks all over the place. New personnel, new coaching staffs, and then the Jets just totally stink.
Yeah, so they're good enough
it's almost
maybe
like they don't
to
count.
eke into the playoffs even without him, but
I think
there's
so.
certainly maybe one round that out without him, and just a totally different team. What about Flacco? Well, he gets all the money. You know, what do you think of the idea he's paid for what he's done already and not what he's going to do? Like, what do you think of Flacco as a guy in the future?
Well, I think the team's very fortunate to win the Super Bowl last year. When you go back and look at the Denver Broncos had him for dead. You know, with less than a minute to go, and they
Right.
go 80 yards, and they with blown coverage. So that's what's been happening, though, in a lot of sports, not only football but baseball. It's been teams. If you look back, it's wild card teams. It's teams that are just barely getting in that go on and win the championship, and because of a break here and a break there, and that's what sports has turned into, and that's what's made it so exciting. But you know, you're asking what I think he was paid on last year for sure. Is he a good quarterback? Yes, I think he's a good quarterback. Is he a great quarterback? I say no at this point. You know, we'll see in years to come. But he sure had a good run in the playoffs with no interceptions and probably 9-10 touchdowns. Did everything right. So he got paid, like you said, Artie, on last year's performance.
I can tell you that I think he's a top 3 arm in the NFL. I did his games at Delaware.
Right.
I think he's a top 3 arm in the NFL. I think that the only thing holding him back is the amount of time he put in preparation-wise his first few years in the league. I think he was getting by on ability, and as a result, he was slow on his reads. He was holding the ball too long. There were times when he just looked lost out there in the pocket when he'd be under pressure. I think that this contract actually helps him become a better player because it puts some pressure on him to live up to his end of the bargain.
Seems like a class guy who will really go. He seems like a class guy who's not going to take the money for nothing. He seems like a guy who will work hard.
Right. I think he will work harder now.
Yeah, and if they can, even harder. And if they can keep good guys around him, some good personnel around him, receivers and
who's he throwing to now?
And,
That's a real issue.
Yeah.
Who's he going to throw the ball to?
But anyway, that's good. That's interesting though. You know, John, you're saying he's a good quarterback, not a great one, but he's making $20 million a year. He's making great quarterback money. It's amazing.
I don't like to use that word. I don't want to say he's not great. He's just, I'm not putting him in the upper echelon of the great quarterbacks of all time.
But the only thing that's holding him back is his, ability to diagnose a defense. If he could diagnose a defense like Tom Brady does, he'd be better than Brady. I think arm-wise, yeah.
Guys, I was watching a preseason game with Tom Brady the other night, and here's a guy that comes in first game, and he looked like it was the 16th game of the season.
Yeah.
And the reason that defenses fear him is because his short game, like you were just saying, he reads defenses. His short game is so brilliant that he has to keep everybody honest.
Yeah.
And so he can use the entire field, and that's what makes him so great. Same with Peyton Manning. And so if that's what Joe Flacco has awaiting him, and he can do that in the future, I'll agree with you that he may become one of the great ones.
Yeah.
A great, smart player. What about what's a big surprise this year, John? You got any surprises coming out of the NFL that you can enlighten us on?
Well, I think that AFC North is probably going to be one of the tougher divisions. The Steelers, the Ravens, and the Bengals, all 3 of those teams are good football teams that could win it. And the Browns probably will have their best season that they've had in a real long time. I think they're a good 6, possibly 7-win team. Surprises in the NFL, you might look towards a team like Tampa Bay or Carolina, maybe one of those two.
What about Kansas City?
Yeah, let me put it this way, John. John, with having you as a guest, you're a unique guest. So let me put it to you a unique way. Say I'm coming to Vegas. Okay, me and you are friends. I'm coming to Vegas. I got $10,000. I want to put on a future bet, under over in wins. What's a team that might make me a nice without giving away money on a long shot. What's a team that's really got a shot at giving me a nice return on 10 G's?
There's two teams that I would look at this year for 10 G's. I would look at the Miami Dolphins over 7.5. You got to lay a little bit more juice, but I think that Miami team that's a mistake-prone team. That's their problem.
Mm-hmm.
But
I like that though. 7.5. I like that.
Personnel-wise, there's enough there to win 8 games this year.
That's so. If so 7.5. So they go 500. I'm winning money. Nice.
You're winning money.
Okay.
And then the next team is the Cincinnati Bengals. You got to go over 8.5. I think that team is a 9 minimum win team this year, possibly 10.
See, that's why I love John. See, that's how I like asking that question. I may come out there with 10,000. What kind of juice am I laying with the Dolphins?
With the Dolphins, you're laying $0.50, and with the Bengals, you're laying the same. So you got to lay 3 to win 2.
John, I love you, man. Hey, I got to make it out there. I haven't been to Vegas since I know you, John. I got to come out there and hang.
Well, Artie, jump on a plane, straight through. I mean,
I will, John.
No issues.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Have a fine weekend.
John Avello, hour 3. Coming up.